let me tell you the latest two chapters in the biggest drama that the mathematical community has probably ever seen, and that's the story of the ABC conjecture, a theorem that is only true in Japan or only true for a dozen people in Japan. And in one of these new chapters, we're going to introduce a new character in the story, a doctoral student dropout whose results, according to those who believe the ABC conjecture has been proved, whose results are, and I quote, infinitely stronger than those of Andrew Wiles. And who does even say something like that about mathematical results? I don't know what to say. Anyway, let me first do a recap of what has happened with the ABC conjecture since 2012, and then we'll get to the new chapters. In 2012, Shinichi Mochizuki releases some 500 pages of mathematics, completely brand new theory that he calls interuniversal Teichmuller theory, and that he claims proves the ABC conjecture, a huge conjecture, one of the most important conjectures in number theory and in mathematics. Mochizuki is known to be a great mathematician, so people take this seriously and start reading through these hundreds and hundreds of pages. But as much as mathematicians tried, it's very hard to get to understand those papers, and Mochizuki starts being accused of not doing what mathematicians do when they claim to have proved a big result, which is travel to universities, travel to Harvard, to Stanford, to Paris, to explain their theory. Instead, Mochizuki stays in Japan and does a number of series of talks in Japan about his theory, and whoever wants to go there, they can try to learn from him. By 2014, Mochizuki releases some progress report on people trying to understand his proof, and he's getting frustrated that people are A, accusing him of not traveling to explain his mathematics to other people, and B, that people are not making progress in verifying his proof. In 2017, Yamashita, who is one of the Mochizuki acolytes, one of the people that believe that this is a proof, releases a 300-page summary of the proof, which is still very hard to follow. In 2018, Peter Schulze, who got a Fields Medal, and Jacob Sticks traveled to Japan to talk to Mochizuki through some parts of the proof. And later that year, in 2018, Schulze and Sticks find a fatal flaw in Mochizuki's work, and they talk to Mochizuki about it, and they finally write a report on it, on what the problem is. But Mochizuki does not accept that there's any problem with his proof, and instead he replies back viciously with another report saying that, well, their findings are just absurd, and that he and his acolytes, the response was unanimous, utter astonishment and disbelief with bouts of laughter at such manifestly erroneously misunderstandings. And again, Schulze is a Fields medalist. So it suffices to say that one should take Schulze's and Sticks's comments very seriously. In 2020, the proof is published in a refereed journal in Japan, of which Mochizuki is editor-in-chief, which of course is a huge red flag. In 2020, a very wealthy businessman in Japan offers a $1 million reward to anyone who can show that Mochizuki's proof is wrong, even though Schulze and Sticks had already done that. They did not get the $1 million. In 2023, a new player joins the drama. Kirti Joshi from Arizona thinks that Schulze and Sticks are right and the proof of ABC is complete, but he thinks he has found a way around that problem, and he says that he has completed the proof of ABC. Schulze, however, replies almost right away that Joshi's method cannot be right either, so ABC is still a conjecture. Mochizuki, for once, he actually agrees with Schulze and also thinks that Joshi's papers are not a proof of ABC, but he replies in an extremely vicious way. Mochizuki says of Joshi's papers that Joshi is profoundly ignorant and that the papers do not have any meaningful mathematical content whatsoever. And he makes some bizarre comments about Joshi making a reference of 9/11, super bizarre. And now for one of the latest chapters, Joshi in March 2025 has published a new set of papers, including a final report where he claims again that now he has solved all those problems that plague the proof, and that now the proof of ABC is complete thanks to Joshi. But he claims that every assertion of Schultz and Sticks is mathematically false, and on the other hand, Mochizuki's proof was incomplete, and he has fixed it. So this is very unlikely to be a proof again. And then there is Zhu Zhongpeng, who was a doctoral student, dropped out, became an engineer. Then he started reading on his own on inter-universal Teichmuller theory. He understood it all, and then he wrote to Fesenko, one of Mochizuki's acolytes, and Fesenko said, like, oh, come over here, like, we have to talk. And then he says that what he has proven is infinitely stronger than those results of Andrew Wiles, which is something wild to say. And now Zhongpeng has dropped his career as an engineer and has moved to be a student of Fesenko, this acolyte of Mochizuki. So I'm sure we will hear about all these incredible theorems that follow from a proof of the ABC conjecture, which is most likely false. So stay tuned.